All right, guys. So we were just on stream. I was just on Twitch here, and I was talking with the chat, and we decided to come up with a list. I guess I sparked it, right? But we're talking about let's see if we can talk about the top 10 characters in Marvel Strike Force and who they are. And this is what we were able to come up with. Now, granted, I mean this is a group. This is a group list that is compiled of different players, and by no means is this all the players in Marvel Strike Force. So you may have some interchangeable characters that are a part of this top 10 list here, right? But definitely for sure, the first character is going to be Kestrel. We went with Silver Surfer as number 2. We went with Doom number 3, Gamora number 4, Cap Sam number 5, which you could probably switch this up a little bit. Captain Sam going ahead of Gamora, Phyla, Emma, SSM, Doc Ock, and Jubilee. What I thought was interesting about this list is the simple fact that in a top 10 game where legendaries are sort of supposed to, what you would think, if you have characters that are legendary characters, you think that these are supposed to be the sought after, coveted characters that are supposed to be, you think legendary, you think that they're supposed to be kind of like the best characters in the game. And while two of them, we do say are in the top 10, they kind of snuck into this top 10. Now, if we did the top 20 list, we could talk about some of the characters here. But really what I'm thinking is that we're probably at that place now where I think legendary characters should start to feel a little bit more legendary in Marvel Strike Force. And I pulled up the legendary list and kind of sort of looked at it and thought to myself, some of these characters are largely just irrelevant characters in the game. Now, some of that is just because the game has been around for 3 years and these characters the characters tend to fall off. Like Iron Man. Iron Man has completely fallen off the map. Nobody really cares about him as a character anymore. And if you're a Marvel fan, then obviously you know Iron Man has a lot of clout in Marvel, in the MCU, all that stuff. He's a really good character in there. Now, Nick Fury is actually still a decent character that you can use, but he's not a character that you're gonna break your neck to try to go get in the game whatsoever, because yeah, he's a good addition if you're using Kestrel, but he's not what makes Kestrel great. Now, Magneto largely is really primarily just a war, the BH 2.0 team, largely just a war offense team that you can use in the game. But once again, Magneto's not necessarily a necessary character at all. He's good. You can use him with BH 2.0 on war offense. And in fairness, right, Magneto is currently used right now with the Doom on a lot of war defense teams, with the BH 2.0 team. So there definitely is some viability in this game. But when you look at Magneto as an individual character, not really moving the needle much. Star-Lord falling off completely, power crept as ever, right? Just not that great. Now, Invisible Woman still has large viability in Marvel Strike Force towards the end of it. If you're looking at the end of the game, there are players who have used Invisible Woman in Dark Dimension 4. I still think that she's a very good war character for war offense and also war defense. Outside of that, though, probably not that much of an impact. Now, Shuri is kind of in a weird place for me because Shuri actually is. I use Shuri every single day because of Doom raids. I'm using her right now in the tech nodes, but I'm pretty sure that probably may change sometime soon because we're seeing now that they're releasing these teams specifically for Doom raids. So there's a possibility that Shuri may probably soon take a backseat to some other tech team that's in Marvel Strike Force. And Phoenix is good. Phoenix is very good. I still think that although ISOs don't work the way that we would like for them to work on her because of the summon, or because Dark Phoenix is a summon, I do still think that she's still a very good character. And that 25% in Dark Dimension is still 25%. Now we kind of get to sort of like the top tier list, in my opinion, where you're looking at Ebony Maw, large plug and play character, very good in Dark Dimension, good in raids. But now with this new Warriors team, hey, we're gonna probably be benching Ebony Maw now. Yes, offense down is going to help the new Warriors team with that speed bar reduction, but they do offense down on their own, so you don't really need Ebony Maw there unless you're looking for some additional sustain. Then maybe you may want to throw in Ebony Maw. But I will say this, Ebony Maw is still a very good character in Marvel Strike Force and should be a character that's legendary that you should definitely go after. We're gonna leave Jubilee and Adam, Warlock, and Doc Ock for a little bit later on. Black Bolt right now in Marvel Strike Force, it's just other than you needing Black Bolt to unlock Ebony Maw, he's really kind of like the poor man's version of Kestrel, right? So Kestrel, this massive damage dealing character that came into the game, really kind of Black Bolt was one of those first or one of those more recent legendaries that could do that massive dealing damage, but has kind of fallen off in Marvel Strike Force. So because he's very, very slow, his damage doesn't carry very well in Dark Dimension, as to where Kestrel's damage still does counter very well in Dark Dimension. And yeah, you can use him as a character to counter that Heroes for Hire team. But let's be real, with Shang-Chi getting released into Marvel Strike Force, he really doesn't have that same sort of, he's not going to have that same sort of value anymore. He is going to fall off tremendously in this game. Now, these three legendary characters I still think are probably the top tier legendaries in the game right now. Dr. Octopus, very largely a plug and play character that what he does, he can give your team blocks. He gives that a resistance to offense down. That's a massive big deal. He has a basic that slows. He has a ultimate ability that can flip buffs and then also extend buffs. So yeah, definitely a great character. Jubilee, I mean, if you're not building Axemen, if you're not using Axemen for these Doom raids, then I don't know, you're not gonna have a great time in those mutant sections if you're not using the Axemen team. And Jubilee is a character that does make that team go. And even outside of that, really, she's still a good plug and play character with the blind. She has a turn rewind on her ultimate ability and with her special ability. And so she's actually still a pretty good character. And Adam Warlock, he is on the best team now. Although I didn't think he was in the top 10 list. We didn't put him in the top 10 list. I do still think that because he's on the best team in the game and because he's given Safeguard, you kind of have to say that, yeah, he's a very important legendary in Marvel Strike Force. But really, when we look at these other legendary characters, none of them really stand out as being a part of the top 10 list or top 10 characters in Marvel Strike Force by any sort of means. And other than Jubilee and Doc Ock, who, in my opinion, and in the chat's opinion, kind of snuck into this top 10 list. And moving forward, if you are going to have legendary characters that are going to require this mythic method, right, of being able to unlock them, I think that they gotta be pushing top 1, top 2, top 5 in Marvel Strike Force, and they're kind of falling short. So although legendaries, yeah, they feel so to a certain extent, yeah, there's still some good ones in the game. They're still usable in the game. They're still late game viable, absolutely, but they don't feel as powerful as these other characters that we just looked at on this list. We just looked at Kestrel, Silver Surfer, Doom. Now, Doom, he's a Dark Dimension release character, so of course I can get the reason why he is a top 3 character. But Gamora isn't a legendary character. Captain Sam is not a legendary character. Sphila's not a legendary character. Emma isn't. And SSM, I'm kind of not sure about him being in the top 10, but the chat did say, hey, SSM does definitely deserve to be in the top 10. But really, I think that these two characters here could have even been interchanged with some other characters that are in the game. So what I'm basically saying is that it's time for legendary characters to really sort of try to take their stronghold in Marvel Strike Force and really be the strongest characters in the game. They should be top 5 characters in Marvel Strike Force. They should feel that good as legendaries. And if we're gonna have mythic releases where we're gonna have those gear tier requirements, where we're gonna have those ISO requirements, then we need them to also be top 5 characters in Marvel Strike Force. Maybe this is an unpopular opinion, but if we're gonna work that hard to get these legendaries, guys, and I do think that they should definitely be, we shouldn't be sneaking them into the top 10 list. We should be having them all the way up in the top 5 of the character list. Without question, when we think about top 10 characters, we should automatically been able to say, hey, Adam Warlock is a top 10 character. Doc Ock is a top 10 character. Not, what about these characters when we get towards the end of the list? But listen, what are your guys' thoughts on legendary characters in Marvel Strike Force? Is there any legendaries that you're still like, hey, you know what? Maybe this character should have also been in the top 10 list. Maybe you forgot about them, Goofy. I still think that they're good and they should definitely be sought after as top 10 characters in Marvel Strike Force. Hey, leave it in the comments. all my opinions, all of our opinions aren't always going to be the same. So definitely welcome some healthy debate there if you guys have some characters on your list that you want to talk about as well. But appreciate you guys watching the video. Thank you guys so much. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Check out the links down below in the description. Join my Discord. Save some money on Amazon coins. There's an Amazon coin, the links that is down there. So save on your mobile in-game purchases here in Marvel Strike Force or any other mobile games that you do play. Follow me on Twitch where I stream MSF, and I'm doing this video right now on streaming Marvel Strike Force. But listen, appreciate you guys so very much. Y'all be blessed and y'all be safe. Woo! All right, guys. Legendary Star-Lord, bring him back. Let's make him great again.